Over the past few weeks, we have got a bunch of Apple product drops without the traditional events, but just mini videos that have felt a lot like the big events. But from what I can see, basically, they're getting a fraction of the normal event buzz. Roll on WWDC. But before we get to that, this video is brought to you by ESR, and I'm delighted to welcome them back to the new era of iCaveDave, as they were the first company who reached out when we first started out. More on what's to come for the channel later. I've always struggled to keep a clear desk, but ESR's 3-in-1 MagSafe chargers have been a massive help in getting it in check. It features Qi 2 for the fastest charging on MagSafe, and fast charging is great until it overheats. Enter Cryo Boost, keeping your phone cool and protecting your battery health. Plus, that means getting a full charge on an iPhone 16 Pro in an hour and 51 minutes, which is 99 minutes faster than standard Qi 2 chargers. Plus, quick charging for your Apple Watch on the back and your AirPods on the base means you're always fully charged and ready to go. Plus, ESR also sent me their Halo Lock case, which protects your camera control, and I didn't realise, but a repair to that can run you over $700. Halo Lock also means a secure fit to your charger every time, and the clever integration of camera protection as a kickstand is delightful every time I open it. Perfect if you're commuting or just watching me at home. Plus, ESR have just been named to Fast Company's Most Innovative Companies list of 2025. Thanks to ESR for their support in this video, and of course, there's a link in the description below. So, what's come out while I've been away? The iPhone 16e is here, and let's be honest, it's the perfect iPhone for basically everyone without compromise, and I think we can all agree on that. So the iPhone 16e. We finally have a budget phone that looks like it's an iPhone from the current decade at least, and that's a huge win. The home button is finally dead. Apple doesn't sell anything with the iconic round button, Touch ID or otherwise, anymore in 2025. The iPad dumping it first was pretty embarrassing though. The only reference you can actually see to the old home button is now on CarPlay if you want to get back to the best screen layout, which is the split screen one, which somehow still uses the squircle that physical devices dropped over a decade ago. But I'm loving the nostalgia in the car. For me, the most worrying omission on the 16e is no MagSafe, as it feels a little bit too close to the death of Force Touch. Surely it wouldn't have cost Apple that much to put a few magnets in the back and sold a few more $40 MagSafe chargers, or the lovely ones from ESR. But I guess the question for Apple is, does it sell on average more MagSafe chargers than the price difference it costs to add it? I have no idea. Maybe it was just a thickness constraint or something like that. When it comes to the other complaints though, like not having 120Hz displays, dear Android users, increasing the frame rate on your phone won't replace the experience of having a real, genuine, personal relationship. I hate to tell you. Go outside, touch some grass, and ask your next date what their refresh rate is on their phone. And if you find someone that knows and cares, marry them. Otherwise, the iPhone 16e gets more storage, a faster chip, more RAM, Apple Intelligence, don't even go there, I will fight you, a much better 48 megapixel camera, and dignity. And if you're still in the camp of the silly, Apple no longer sells a small phone. Just because there were massive bezels around a small display didn't make the last SE small. Plus, including 16 in the name suggests we'll get a new version annually, potentially, and it's the perfect phone for family members who won't buy their own phone because going to school isn't paying as well as a job, or company phones for employees, for example. And finally, that weird guy at the office that thinks Android is fine can finally try something alright. Then we've had the MacBook Air with M4, and beyond it being a little bit late compared to the rest of the M4 devices, I think this is basically a win all around. The M4 itself is a fantastic chip, like the rest of the base Mac lineup, now starts with 16GB of unified memory, and yes, I know they retconned the M2 and M3 to try and make you forget about 8GB, but it's still a win. It gets a better 12 megapixel center stage camera, and it even got a price cut down to $9.99 instead of having an old version hold that spot. And a cool, almost blue colour. It's cool. It's super subtle in person. It, like what silver looks like, kind of subtle. But all around, great stuff. Thanks, Apple. You nailed this one. Then iPad Air M3. I mean, there's barely anything to say here. It's an iPad Air with an M3 in it instead of an M2 that it had before. But I don't think it's really adding any functionality this time. But it's fresher, it's a little bit faster, it's the same price, so fine. If you have any M-series iPad Air, there's really no reason to upgrade, nor should there be. Although I do find it impressive that Apple's press release points out that it's 3.5 times faster than the iPad Air with A14, which was released 5 years ago in the middle of COVID, alongside the iPhone 12. In summary, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's also not super exciting. But WWDC has now been announced with the opening keynote on June the 9th, 2025. Presumably not just a weird little video they upload to YouTube, but a proper one. It's always pretty much the busiest time of year for us in the Apple space because even more than when we get new hardware reveals, we all get new software, we know it's coming, and we can start playing with it straight away with the beta systems. But this year, in 2025, how much will we see? And more importantly, how much of what we see can we believe? In the past 12 months, probably more than ever before, Apple, I think, have lost the confidence of the tech community. This is because they tried to rush out Apple Intelligence last year at the Developers Conference, and they finally admitted that some of those features that were announced almost a year ago and sold the iPhone 16 range on just aren't ready or even close to working well enough to launch in the near future. And that sucks. The closest thing we've probably had in the past is Apple's AirPower, the wireless charger that would have let you drop up to 3 devices anywhere you liked on the mat and have them charged. Announced with the iPhone 10 and then quietly cancelled a couple of years later when technical challenges proved insurmountable. I think, though, that the cancellation of AirPower was actually a good thing, because that was replaced by MagSafe, which, as I might have mentioned earlier, we'd really like to keep around. Instead of solving the issue of placing a device accurately for wireless charging by letting you place it anywhere, MagSafe added more functionality by using magnets to guide the device to the perfect position, also allowing those magnets to attach accessories or mount the iPhone to stands. I even use those magnets to attach my phone to some gym equipment while I work out. Instead of outright cancelling this time, Apple has made changes to the Apple Intelligence team, so perhaps the new approach will allow even more functionality than we expected before. Beyond that, though, we're hearing of major visual designs to Apple's software platforms pretty much across the board, although the direction of these are kind of murky. Friend of the show, John Prosser, has shared what he's seen and heard, and other friend of the show, Sam Cole, has suggested round Vision Pro style icons, and person who works at Bloomberg, Mr. Gurman, says no one is really getting it right so far. So it's going to be interesting to see where this lands. So we'll share our WWDC predictions soon enough. Is Apple done? I'm going to put my chip down on no, but I am paying a little bit more attention to what other people are doing now. Is iCaveDave done? Well, as quiet as I've been, I have a new space on the way. There will be a fresh start. There will be more home automation. There will be more HomeKit, linking to things that aren't in Apple's ecosystem without breaking the bank, using Home Assistant. And yes, I've made the Raspberry Pi look really cool with a 3D printed Mac Pro. The live streams are coming back. In fact, you can already set your reminders for our pre- and post-WWDC live streams right now for June. So let's do this. Let's be here for the optimistic future of tech, because things can be good. Thank you to my voluptuous and astute Patreons for turning a blind eye to my quiet time, and I'll see you in the next one, which will be sooner, I promise. Want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours? Subscribe and ring the bell.